Joe Rogan just blew the lid off one of the most chilling political plots we've ever seen. And at the center of it all is Erika Kirk, Kirk's widow, who may have been planning something dark from the very start. Forget everything you thought you knew about grief, loyalty, and politics, because what Joe just revealed will shake you to your core. He's not throwing out wild guesses. He's pieced together clues from viral videos, body language breakdowns, and eerie coincidences that all lead to one disturbing conclusion. Erika Kirk isn't mourning her husband. She's positioning herself to become America's next First Lady. And the craziest part? J.D. Vance might already be in on it. From the way Erika touched him on stage, to the way he's been publicly undermining his own wife, you shit all look suspicious. The hug wasn't just a hug. It was a power move. And Joe Rogan is calling it what it is, a political setup wrapped in tragedy. So now we have to ask, was Charlie Kirk's death just the beginning of something far more sinister? Stay tuned, because once you see the evidence, you'll never look at Erika Kirk or the 2028 election the same way again. This isn't just drama. This is a national scandal in the making. Charlie Kirk built an empire off conservative values, faith, and family-first messaging. He was the golden boy of the right, self-made political figure who transformed Turning Point USA from a grassroots organization into a multi-million-dollar machine. Young, energetic, and controversial in all the right ways, Charlie was the kind of leader people either worshipped or feared. And then, out of nowhere, he was gone. A shocking, violent, and highly suspicious incident took him out at the peak of his influence, leaving behind not just a grieving family, but an entire movement in chaos. But what nobody saw coming, what nobody could even begin to imagine, was how quickly his widow, Erika Kirk, would step into the spotlight. Because instead of fading quietly into mourning, Erika became louder, bolder, and far more powerful than anyone expected. She didn't just keep her husband's legacy alive. She took it over like she had been preparing for it all along. Within days of Charlie's death, Erika wasn't at home surrounded by family. She was on stage, microphone in hand, cameras rolling, her makeup flawless, her speech rehearsed. She didn't look like a shattered widow. She looked like a woman ready for her next move. And that's when the rumors began. People started whispering that Erika's behavior felt off, too composed, too comfortable, almost strategic. Her rise to power was swift, almost suspiciously so. One minute, she's Charlie's grieving wife. The next, she's CEO of Turning Point, host of his podcast, leader of his team, and speaker at every major event. She wasn't just stepping into his shoes, she was redesigning them to fit her own ambition. But it wasn't until she stood on stage at Oxford, just weeks after Charlie's funeral, that everything changed. Because that's where Erika Kirk said the one thing that cracked this story wide open. She looked out into the crowd, voice steady, and said, "No one will ever replace my husband. But I do see some similarities in J.D. Vance, the sitting vice president of the United States, a married man with children, a man whose wife, Wusha Vance, was sitting in the audience. And Erika just compared him to her dead husband publicly, casually, like it was the most normal thing in the world. But it wasn't normal, not even close. And that's what sent the internet into a frenzy. People began dissecting every frame of that moment, every word, every facial twitch. They noticed something was off. Erika wasn't just honoring Charlie. She was aligning herself with power, with JD, with something bigger. Let's talk about JD Vance for a second. He came up fast, faster than most. From best-selling author to senator, then suddenly vice president. His rise was meteoric and his image was squeaky clean. Christian, family man, devoted husband to Usha, a brilliant woman of Hindu background. But lately, cracks have started to show. He's made comments that publicly diminish his wife's faith. He's hinted that he wants her to convert to Christianity. And now, he's showing up in viral videos with Erika Kirk, looking way too comfortable for a man whose wife is still very much alive. And when that hug happened, the infamous hug on stage, wasn't just an embrace. It was a statement. Erika's hand in his hair, his hands on her hips, pelvis to pelvis, smiles. Warmth. Too much warmth. And all of it caught on camera. All of it seen by millions. Now here's where Joe Rogan comes in. Because Joe doesn't say things lightly. He doesn't jump on every trending drama. But when he saw that clip, he couldn't stay quiet. He said it straight. Something is sus. And once Joe spoke, the floodgates opened. Fans, analysts, and even political insiders started connecting the dots. Charlie's sudden death. Erika's suspicious rise. JD's cold treatment of Ashua. The body language. The timing. The language Erika used. It all started forming a pattern. A dark, twisted, strategic pattern. And suddenly, the idea that Erika Kirk could be gunning for First Lady didn't seem so far-fetched. It felt inevitable. This wasn't just a grieving widow trying to honor her husband. This was a woman with a plan. A woman who walked through her husband's funeral and into the arms of power without missing a beat. A woman who might be using national tragedy as a launchpad for political greatness. The scary part, she might actually pull it off. Because the more you look, the more it seems like Erika Kirk has been preparing for this moment for a long, long time. And now, with Joe Rogan pulling back the curtain, we're finally seeing the real picture. The question is, can anyone stop it before it's too late? It started as a whisper, but within hours of that Turning Point Oxford event, the political world was on fire. Erika Kirk had already been acting strange. But her comparison of J.D. Vance to her dead husband wasn't just strange, it was explosive. The internet couldn't stop replaying the moment. Thousands of frame-by-frame breakdowns flooded TikTok. Twitter was ablaze with side-by-side photos of Charlie and J.D. analyzing facial structures, body posture, and vocal tone, like this was some sort of psychological experiment. But then came the hug. That moment, captured in perfect, brutal clarity, changed the tone from speculation to accusation. The kind of hug that makes wives uncomfortable. The kind of hug that says, "We've done this before." Kind of hug that shouldn't happen on a stage in front of 10,000 people and 4 million live stream viewers. And it didn't take long for someone in the crowd to leak what they saw backstage. A text message thread appeared on Reddit within an hour of the event ending. The alleged leaker, a production assistant who worked Turning Point events for over a year. The messages were short, frantic, and chilling. "I swear on my life she kissed him backstage." Another message read, "They didn't see me." It wasn't a goodbye kiss. It was a kiss. Screenshots were posted, blurred names and all. But that was all it took. Erika Kirk and J.D. Vance went from political allies to scandalized conspirators in less than 24 hours. And then came the DMZ. Dozens of anonymous accounts began dropping alleged messages between Erika and J.D. Some were obvious. Fakes, bad grammar, inconsistent fonts. But one stood out. A message allegedly from Erika's private alt account read, "I never thought I'd feel this way after Charlie. But God makes no mistakes." That line was screen captured and reshared more than 2 million times. A second message from the same account said, "Usha doesn't see what's coming. She's too proud to change." It was subtle, but it hinted at something dangerous, a deep, calculated move. A replacement. Not just of JD's wife, but of an entire political image. And fans started to believe that this wasn't just happening. It had been happening for a while by the end of the week. Joe Rogan doubled down on his suspicions. He brought on a body language expert to his podcast. Her name, Lydia Krasnica, former CIA analyst turned media consultant. She broke down the footage in slow motion. She pointed to the angle of Erika's hips, the touch of her fingers behind JD's neck, the micro expression on his face when he leaned in. And then she said the words no one wanted to hear. "This is not platonic. This is not accidental. This is intimate body language between people who are emotionally, if not physically, involved." The clip of her analysis went viral on YouTube. The title, Joe Rogan exposes Erika Kirk and J.D. Vance affair. But here's where things took a turn no one could have predicted. Someone leaked audio. A short, scratchy clip recorded on what sounded like a phone in a pocket. In the audio, you hear two voices, a man and a woman, talking in hushed tones. The woman says, "You have to decide soon. They'll turn on both of us if we wait too long." The man replies, "I'm working on it." She's suspicious. Then there's a pause. The woman says Charlie wouldn't have hesitated. And that was it. 5 seconds of silence. Then the sound of a door creaking open and footsteps walking away. Audio experts weighed in. They enhanced the clip, removed background noise, compared vocal patterns, and while nothing was confirmed 100%, multiple independent analysts said the male voice had a 92% match with J.D. Vance's public speeches. The female voice, a 96% match with Erika Kirk's Turning Point interview from a week earlier. Was it real? Nobody could say for sure. But it didn't matter. Public opinion had already turned. The narrative had shifted. This wasn't just an affair. This was a calculated rise to power. Just an affair. This was a calculated rise to power. And then Erika made the biggest mistake of all. She tried to control the narrative. She posted a polished video to her Instagram, shot in soft lighting, sitting by a fireplace with Christian music softly playing in the background. She looked directly into the camera and said, "I will not let my husband's memory be tarnished by lies. JD is a friend. Nothing more." She quoted scripture. She cried perfect mascara-free tears. She said she was under attack by the media and enemies of truth. But instead of sympathy, the internet saw a strategy. Her tears were called PR tears. Her smile, calculated. Even her fireplace was mocked as a crisis communications prop. And while Erika was busy filming her damage control video, someone else was leaking something even more devastating: photos. Photos of Erika and JD taken in private settings. One in a hotel lobby at 2 a.m., another at a candlelit dinner in D.C., 2 weeks before Charlie's death. Another, still the most damning of them all, showed JD's hand resting on Erika's knee under a table during a Turning Point donor meeting, all allegedly snapped by someone who claimed to be in the room. And while some said they could have been taken out of context, it was the date stamps that made them impossible to ignore. The photos were from weeks before Erika's now infamous comparison speech. Meaning, this wasn't something new. This wasn't the beginning. It was the middle. And that's when it hit people like a thunderclap. If Erika and JD were already this close weeks before Charlie's death, what did that mean about Charlie's death? Was it really what we were told? A random act of violence by a crazed young man? Or was it something darker? Something orchestrated? Joe Rogan posed the question out loud on his podcast: who gains the most from Charlie's death? Just ask that. Who benefits? And suddenly, the conspiracy took a sharp turn. People started pulling clips of Charlie's last interviews. One in particular stood out. In it, Charlie says, "There are people close to me I don't fully trust right now, but God will expose what's hidden." The clip ended with Charlie forcing a smile. Fans said his eyes looked tired. Some said scared. And that line, "I don't fully trust," began trending everywhere. This wasn't just drama anymore. It was starting to look like a blueprint for betrayal. A long game. A coup wrapped in patriotism. A widow becoming a queen and a vice president, possibly planning his escape from a marriage he no longer believes in. And right at the heart of it all was one unspoken, bone-chilling question: was Charlie Kirk eliminated so Erika Kirk could rise? Everything changed when a leaked conversation surfaced, one that was never meant to go public. According to an anonymous source who claimed to work as a junior staffer inside Turning Point USA, Erika Kirk had allegedly held a private strategy meeting just 3 weeks after her husband's death. But this wasn't a grief counseling session or a memorial planning talk. It was a closed-door meeting about public rebranding, an image alignment with national figures. The source said Erika used those exact words: alignment with national figures. J.D. Vance's name was reportedly at the top of a printed list labeled Optics Compatible Partners. Sound like a political strategy? Because that's what it was. Now let that sink in. Erika didn't just stumble into this spotlight. If this leak is real, insiders swear the meeting happened, then Erika Kirk was already planning her public trajectory within weeks of losing Charlie. That raises serious questions. And the internet. Oh, they exploded with theories. One thread on Reddit compiled dozens of side-by-side videos of Erika's body language at events with other political men. Mike Johnson, Ben Shapiro, Ron DeSantis. Every single clip showed the same thing: reserved, cold, distanced. But with J.D. Vance, intimate touch, prolonged eye contact, subtle hip shift. And according to one body language analyst, maternal turned romantic gestures. And if you think that's shocking, wait till you hear what was discovered next. TikTok went absolutely nuclear when a viral video showed Erika on a hot mic before a Turning Point conference started. The mic was meant to be muted, but a camera caught her telling someone backstage he's almost ready. He just needs to let go of her. Though he was assumed to be J.D. Vance. The her. Obviously, OSHA users flooded the comments demanding clarification, but Erika never addressed it. The video was later deleted mysteriously, but not before over 2.3 million people saw it and reposted it across platforms. Now, it could have been taken out of context. Or it could be the clearest proof yet that Erika was orchestrating something bigger behind the scenes. Meanwhile, Usha Vance, the vice president's wife, has reportedly become increasingly isolated. A source who claimed to be a longtime family friend said Usha has stopped attending most White House events and hasn't been seen publicly with JD in over a month. She's scared, the source said. He's different now. Cold, detached. Like he's following someone else's script. Who's writing that script? According to this narrative, Erika Kirk. But if that wasn't enough to rattle the entire conservative ecosystem, Joe Rogan dropped the real bomb. On his podcast, Rogan claimed he had received a folder of evidence from a whistleblower close to Turning Point USA. He wouldn't show it on camera, okay, but he did read one excerpt aloud. It allegedly detailed a secret media training session Erika underwent just days after Charlie's funeral. The goal? To prep her for transition into future spousal political roles. Spousal political roles. That is not something you prep for by accident. Joe didn't stop there. He went on to say that J.D. Vance's sudden comments about Usha's religion weren't random, they were trial balloons. Political testing. A way to see how the MAGA base would react to criticism of a Hindu wife versus support of a Christian widow. And you know what? The base responded. Thousands of far-right Twitter accounts suddenly began pushing hashtags like #Erika for First Lady and #replace USHA. What started as a rumor had evolved into a full-blown digital campaign. Erika wasn't shutting it down. In fact, she started liking tweets in support of her future leadership. Coincidence? Or confirmation? But it gets darker. Remember the hug? New footage emerged from a separate camera angle that showed Erika whispering something into JD's ear during the embrace. Lip readers online immediately jumped in. One popular interpretation: "You're safe now." Another said, "I'm with you." Both are cryptic. Both feel loaded. Why would a grieving widow say that to the sitting vice president in the middle of a political event? And why did JD smile afterward, even as OSHA looked on from the side with tear-filled eyes? People began digging into Erika's past, and they found even more disturbing coincidences. A former college friend came forward on a podcast and said Erika had always been obsessed with political legacy couples. She reportedly idolized Nancy Reagan and even kept a scrapbook of first ladies in her dorm. Another source claimed Erika once said in a private Bible study group, "I'm meant to serve beside a leader." At the time, people thought she meant Charlie. But now, that statement hits completely. Different. Then came the ultimate twista. Fake website registered under the name vance-kirk228.org popped up and circulated screenshots of what looked like a campaign announcement. The site was quickly taken down, and both camps denied any involvement. But tech sleuths on Twitter tracked the domain's registration to a shadowy PR firm based in D.C. that has previously worked with Turning Point USA. So now the questions are mounting. Was this a mistake, a leak, or a not-so-subtle test run to gauge public reaction? Meanwhile, Erika has started appearing in more professional photo shoots, polished, composed, draped in conservative fashion, with backdrops that scream political campaign. Her captions on social media have become increasingly vague, but spiritually coded. Lines like, "He will make beauty from ashes," and "A calling cannot be buried," have sparked thousands of comments from people wondering what she's hinting at. Is it about Charlie's legacy or J.D. Vance's future? In one interview, she was asked directly whether she would consider a role in politics. Her answer? "I go where God places me." That's not a no. That's not even a maybe. That's a cryptic warning. And if J.D. Vance is serious about running in 2028, he knows he needs a partner who can play the part. Erika's already proven she can. She's taken over Charlie's empire without missing a beat. She's speaking on bigger stages. And now, if this entire plan is real, she may be one wedding away from the biggest stage in America, the White House. But here's the kicker. The leaked whistleblower document that Joe Rogan got, it reportedly ends with one line written in bold. "The public is ready. We just need one more push." What does that mean? Is a staged divorce coming? Is JD about to publicly end his marriage and unveil a divinely blessed union with Erika? Whatever that last push is, it's coming. And the entire internet is watching. Even more intensity, fake fan reactions, insider takes, and social media chaos written in full paragraph format with no headings or boxes. Just pure dramatic storytelling as soon as Joe Rogan's podcast aired and that whisper of something is sus hit the airwaves. The internet lit up like a match dropped in gasoline. Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, and YouTube all erupted at once, spinning conspiracy threads, dissecting every frame of Erika's hug with JD, coming up receipts from months back that everyone had missed. A TikTok with over 9.8 million views titled "Erika Kirk is grooming JD Vance for 2028." laid out a point-by-point timeline of Erika's appearances since Charlie's death, set to ominous music with red circles and slow zoom screenshots of Erika's hand placements, JD's facial expressions, and Ush's haunted glances from the sidelines. The comments: a battlefield of believers, skeptics, and those who just wanted popcorn and updates every hour. People began referring to Erika as Widow Undercover and First Lady 2.0. Fan edits emerged with side-by-side pictures of Erika at Turning Point events and old First Lady portraits, mocking how polished and poised she'd become overnight. One user even photoshopped a fake Time magazine cover showing J.D. Vance and Erika Kirk with the title "Power Couple: The Rise of America's New Royalty." It looked so real, it got over 120,000 reposts in one weekend before being fact-checked as fake. But by then, the damage was done. The image was already cemented in the public's imagination. Conservative influencers started splitting into camps. Some, like Candace Owens, doubled down on defending Erika, tweeting, "People grieving are allowed to be strong. Stop policing widows." But even that tweet sparked backlash. One follower responded, "Strong doesn't mean flirting with the vice president while your mascara is still dry from the funeral." Political YouTubers created hour-long breakdowns, titled "The Erika Kirk Seduction Timeline" and "Was Charlie's Death Just Step One?" Rumble creators began uploading alleged inside sources audio clips, claiming that Erika and JD had been texting each other weeks before Charlie's passing, sharing spiritual quotes and emotional support that sounded more romantic than holy. But it wasn't just fans and creators chiming in. The political establishment began feeling the ripple. Lara Trump was reportedly furious over the media frenzy, worried it would taint the carefully crafted MAGA brand. A leaked internal email from her camp allegedly stated, "We cannot afford scandals going into 2028. Distance is required immediately. Meanwhile, other MAGA loyalists began quietly floating Erika's name in donor circles as a potential asset. One anonymous donor told a conservative blog, "Say what you want, Erika moves crowds. She's young, devout, and she owns the stage. It doesn't matter how she got there, it matters what she does now." Even left-leaning pundits started chiming in not to attack Erika, but to warn that the right-wing machine was already adjusting to frame this scandal as destiny. MSNBC's Rachel Maddow did a full segment titled "Grief or Grooming," where she played footage from multiple Erika appearances, pointing out how rehearsed and perfectly timed every move seemed. She closed the segment by asking, "Is this a widow or a woman on a mission?" Her rhetorical question became a viral tweet that now has over 8 million views and a flood of replies, demanding an investigation into the entire Turning Point power structure. Social media polls went wild. One X poll with 200,000 participants asked, "Would you vote for J.D. Vance in 2028 if Erika Kirk was First Lady?" Shockingly, 46% said yes. A flood of comments followed, some sarcastic, some chillingly serious. One said, "Only if they televise the wedding on Fox News." Another, "She's the real strategist. JD's just the arm candy." That comment alone racked up 50,000 likes. Yusha Vance became an unlikely symbol in the chaos. Hashtags like #StandWithUSHA and #FreeUSHA trended as people began empathizing with her role in the alleged political love triangle. Artists began creating digital illustrations of Yushua's viral image showed her standing alone in the White House garden. Her face solemn, the words "replaceable" carved into the marble fountain behind her. A fan account dedicated to Usha's silent strength gained over 120K followers in 2 days, reposting every old photo of her and JD with captions like, "This is the woman he's willing to humiliate for power." Meanwhile, Erika remained publicly silent. She posted cryptic Bible verses, family photos with overly polished lighting, and professionally edited clips from her speaking engagements. Not once did she mention the allegations, the hug, the comments, or Joe Rogan's viral podcast. That silence only fueled the fire. People began saying she's acting like a first lady, already gracefully ignoring the peasants. One YouTuber broke it down in a theory video titled "Erika Kirk, the Ice Queen Playbook," saying she doesn't need to deny anything. She knows the silence keeps us watching. Even more explosive was a fake White House memo that began circulating, claiming that senior staff had advised J.D. Vance to avoid Erika in public. The memo turned out to be a hoax, but its message sparked a real reaction. JD canceled a scheduled Turning Point appearance just hours after the memo went viral. Coincidence? The internet didn't think so. The theory quickly took shape. They're laying low until the divorce announcement. Celebrities started jumping in. Chelsea Handler posted a TikTok parody where she dressed as Erika Kirk giving a speech, flirtatiously introducing JD while wearing a widow's veil. The clip went viral, with fans in the comments divided between calling it iconic and disrespectful. Meanwhile, Kanye West randomly tweeted, "This what y'all get for not letting me be VP. Enjoy, Erika." Nobody knew what he meant, but the tweet was shared over 70,000 times in under 3 hours. News outlets struggled to keep up. Some refused to touch the story, calling it too speculative. Others dove in headfirst, publishing exposes about Erika's past, her donors, her connections to religious megachurches with political agendas. One bombshell article alleged she had been in private Bible studies with major GOP power players for over 2 years, well before Charlie's death. The implication was clear. She was always being groomed for something bigger. And just when the storm seemed like it couldn't grow any more intense, another twist dropped. But I'll save that for the next part, because this story is only getting darker. Just when everyone thought they had seen the full picture, when it seemed like Erika Kirk's hug, J.D. Vance's distancing from his wife, And the eerie silence from the Turning Point crowd were all the puzzle pieces. Something far more chilling emerged from the shadows. A whistleblower came forward, an anonymous source claiming to have worked inside Turning Point USA's executive media team dropped a cryptic thread on X, linking Erika not just to the aftermath of Charlie's death, but to the planning stages of the event that ended his life. Screenshots, audio snippets, partial emails, and a time-stamped security footage leak that allegedly shows Erika meeting in a locked conference room with 3 unnamed Turning Point board members just 5 days before Charlie's fatal public appearance. The leak sent the internet into a spiral of paranoia, speculation, and outright terror. Because in that room, according to the source, was not just strategy talk about the organization's future, was the drafting of a succession plan, listing Erika as the primary face in case of sudden leadership absence. And here's the kicker Charlie never knew. The document was allegedly marked Eyes Only, and it was signed off with a code name, Libertas Rising. Redditors and TikTok detectives took that term and ran wild with it, uncovering a string of digital breadcrumbs connected to a now-deleted Turning Point initiative aimed at reshaping the conservative female voice. Who was the test subject? Erika? Who were the funders? Anonymous donors from a pro-Christian leadership, CAC, who was named in the proposal as an emerging spiritual warrior suited for future office. Erika Kirk. All of it leading to one terrifying realization. This wasn't a grieving widow reacting to trauma. This was a woman waiting for her cue. And now J.D. Vance, caught in the gravitational pull of this perfectly timed tragedy, seems to be spiraling as well. His recent disappearance from family events, Usha's noticeable absence from his latest press tour, and the vice president's solo trip to a closed-door event in Florida where Erika was also present all point to one conclusion: something is about to break. And while some media outlets still call it conspiracy noise, others are quietly preparing exposés. The Washington Dispatch reportedly delayed the release of a full-length investigation into Erika's connections with defense contractors linked to political media firms. Why would a Christian widow be on those emails? And then a final video dropped. A clip from J.D. Vance's private speech at a conservative fundraising gala. He was supposed to thank donors and recite prepared talking points. But he went off script. His voice wavered. He stared off camera, and then he said it. Sometimes God calls us to suffer so we can find our true path. I think I finally know mine. The audience erupted in cheers, but the rest of us, we watched in horror, because that didn't sound like a political speech. That sounded like a vow, a warning, a man ready to burn down his entire past to rewrite his future with someone else by his side. So what happens now? Will J.D. Vance announce his divorce from TPUSA before the end of the year? Will Erika finally speak out, or will she let the silence continue to build her legend? Is this a love story born of tragedy, or the most carefully orchestrated political power play in modern American history? We may be weeks away from answers, or we may already be living through the first act of something far bigger. One thing's for sure. Joe Rogan was right. Something is very sus. And if the next move goes public, the entire country will be watching. Now that you've heard the full story, the whispers, the hug, the hidden files, and the eerie timing, what do you believe? Was Erika Kirk simply a grieving widow trying to find her footing in a chaotic world? Or was she always 10 steps ahead, playing the long game while the rest of us were too stunned to see it? Is J.D. Vance just a man drawn into tragedy and comfort? Or is he complicit in a much darker plan that could rewrite the future of American politics? We want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. Do you think Usha is being pushed out? Do you believe Erika is angling to be First Lady? Or is this all just a wild coincidence timed too perfectly for comfort? Every opinion matters, because right now, the internet is the only place asking the real questions. And if this story rocked you even half as hard as it did us, if your jaw dropped, Your stomach turned, or you just need answers? Make sure you hit that like button. Smash subscribe and turn on ALL notifications. Because trust us, this is only the beginning. Rumors are already swirling about a secret meeting plan between Erika and Major. GOP donors in Palm Beach. Whispers about JD's divorce papers being drafted behind the scenes. And a brand new leaked email suggesting the 2028 campaign logo has already been designed with 2 names on it. You do not want to miss what we're about to uncover next. So tell your friends, send this video to everyone you know, and stay locked in. Because when the next shoe drops, and you'll want to say you saw it coming first. The storm is just beginning, and we're taking you all the way through it.